What's going on, Nerd Army, and welcome to Exploring Comics. In this segment, we break down your favorite heroes and villains and lay them out for you so that way you can understand them on a deeper level. This segment was actually suggested by Mike1452. He actually suggested this on one of my other Exploring Comics episodes and asked if I can do the history of Blade. So guys, that's what we're doing today. We're going to focus on Blade, the Daywalker himself. So let's get into this amazing Marvel hero. Now, Blade is a half-human, half-vampire hybrid that serves as a vigilante in the Marvel Universe. Blade's mother was a prostitute, and she was actually seeking help from anyone she could find. She runs into a man who says that he can help her because she is having extremely unusual labor pains. The man's name was Deacon Frost, and he was pretending to be a doctor to gain the woman's trust, but in the end he was a blood-sucking vampire. He started to feed on her while she was in labor, and he passed on vampiric enzymes through her blood to her unborn child. Now, these enzymes, when they got into the baby's system, did not change him into a full vampire, so he actually was a half-human, half-vampire hybrid. After his mother was killed, he was raised by his mother's brothel. When he was 9 years old, he was walking down the street and saw an older man being attacked by a bunch of vampires. Selflessly, he threw himself into the fight and scared off all these vampires and got them away from the older man. The man he actually saved happened to be Jamal Lafargan. He was a jazz musician and enemy of the undead, and he hunted vampires on his downtime. He took Blade in and raised him and trained him to be a killing machine. Blade fought vampires alongside his mentor Lafargan, and even took on the Lord of the Undead himself, Dracula. Dracula would eventually turn Lafargan into a vampire, forcing Blade to slay his own mentor. This laid a deep-seated hatred for vampires inside Blade, because he essentially thought of it as, they took away my mother, and now they took away my only friend. Blade worked alone for some time after this, until a vampire hunter named Harkin actually found Blade. Harkin confronted Blade about wanting to fight this battle all alone, telling him he does not need to. His organization has the power and the abilities to be able to take down Dracula themselves. Blade wanted no part of this. He wanted his revenge. Blade did not want the hindrance of allies to be a liability for him, so he went after Dracula all on his own. He eventually caught up to Dracula on a cruise ship, and their battle was completely intense, so much so that the ship actually exploded, allowing Dracula to escape. Blade never faltered in his fight against the undead, and still kept that deep-seated hatred for vampires in general. Blade is a master martial artist, as well as an amazing swordsman and a great marksman. Those traits, along with superhuman strength, speed, agility, and stamina, not to mention his accelerated healing factor and enhanced senses, make Blade one of the most formidable foes you could ever face in the Marvel Universe. You don't want to be on the other end of that. Blade is most known to the general public based on the movie Trilogy that was put out starring Wesley Snipes. In these films, Blade faces a variety of insane foes, including the first film he faced Deacon Frost, the man who murdered his mother and created him as a Daywalker. Not to mention, in the film, Blade actually fights Deacon Frost, who has taken in the blood god Lamagra. The second film actually shows Blade taking on the Reapers. Now, the Reapers are a mutated version of vampires that were created when they were trying to make a version and a new bloodline of Daywalkers, just like Blade. Now, the third film, he fights Dracula himself, along with Abigail Whistler and Hannibal King. Now, Abigail Whistler is the daughter of his mentor from the first two films, Whistler himself. Their answer to Dracula in this film is a bioweapon called Daystar. Now, this is essentially a bioweapon that just affects vampires. The catch is, this bioweapon could essentially kill Blade right along with the rest of the vampires. Needless to say, Blade is an iconic character that just about everyone knows. But his backstory is deeply rooted in pain and suffering, a lot more than we actually get in these movies. To me, Blade is an amazing character. So I want to know what you guys thought about this episode of Exploring Comics. What do you guys think about Blade? Do you enjoy the character just as much as you did when you saw the films? And my opinion, I want to know, do you guys want to see Wesley Snipes return for Blade number 4? Last time I checked, he was actually in talks with Marvel Studios to bring Blade back to the big screen. Marvel now owns the rights to Blade. They got them along with the Punisher and Ghost Rider. So we could actually see this character pop up in the Netflix series or in his own standalone movies. I personally would love to see another Blade film, and I want it to be directed by the Russo brothers. Let me know, who would you guys put in charge of directing a new Blade film? Let me know down in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode of Exploring Comics, also down in the comments below. Make sure you guys rate this video with that big thumbs up if you enjoyed yourself. Make sure to share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with me and all the episodes of Exploring Comics we put out every single week, guys. I'm Andrew. You guys have been watching Nerdsmerized. Peace out.
Like the video you just saw, make sure you rate it with that big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you can check out all the other nerdy videos we have just like this one. Also check out my Patreon account and become a patron if you like for access to exclusive content.